I found a note that someone wrote that said, take her for a ride. I set a course for sights unseen and out to open sea. To my surprise, a bunch of sailors joined along with me. Now we're sailing on the mystery ship, and all the sailors here are really here. There isn't any cost of membership. All that you gotta do is join our trip. Yeah, I'm the captain of the mystery ship, and I'm a-calling all aboard this trip. I'm really hoping that you'll enjoy it upon the mystery ship. So bring a friend and come along with us aboard the mystery ship. Well, good evening, my friends. It is your brother Zoe. How are you doing? Holy smokes! I didn't even turn Duska on tonight. Duska, wake up, girl, wake up. She's not aiming the right way, but hey, that's okay. She's with us, and so are you. I am live tonight everywhere except Rumble. Just didn't have the time to. Oh, goodness, boy, folks, it has been a busy weekend for your brothers. Oh, seriously busy. It started early Friday morning, and it didn't quit till damn near just an hour before this show. Several things I just, work, all that stuff, work, and then a little bit of work. I have to say that I have no complaints. Okay, there are wonderful people who help me out from time to time. And, it's a beautiful thing. I enjoy bartering. I like making handshake deals. You scratch my back, I scratch yours. It's a freaking way of life. It's a good thing. Bartering, trading, you got something I need, I got something you need. Let's figure it out and make it work for one another. I think that's wonderful myself. Now, maybe you don't agree, maybe you do, I don't know. All I can say is, for me, the system works, and I'm happy with it. So, tonight we are live on 4 of the 5 regular channels. I have trimmed it down. I didn't upload to Rumble tonight. I wanted to. I did not have the time. Didn't have the time. So I'm going to say quick hellos around the horn to the beautiful people who are here. I've got to start out with our champions, and that is the folks over at YouTube. Now, I got a spanking on YouTube the other night from doing my show, Zoso's Favorite Christmas Shows. Apparently, even when you're doing something in fair use, unless you emblazon the words fair use across the screen, you get in trouble. They actually yanked my show off the air midstream, right in the middle of the show, pulled the plug on me saying, You're a bad boy. And I got my first official warning over there. You only get one warning. After that, it's all strikes. So the people who run that program, it's not people anymore. It's machines. It's AI. They're the ones who do the scanning, and then if something gets flagged, it gets sent to perhaps a live person. But we all know that it is going to be MySpace in the next 4 to 5 years. It will be. That's why we have beautiful places that welcome free speech. Places like Pilled Foxhole, where you can be an American and speak like an American. But they did give me my start. And I have a lot of friends over there. And I want to say hello to them because they're hanging out. Baby Yoda, my goodness, Kenny, how are you doing, man? It has been a minute. I thought of you yesterday when I played a song, Get Out of Denver, Baby, Go, Go. Good to see you. Susan Danielle is with us. How are you doing, darling? Great to have you here. Our Charlie, what is going on, sister? Hope you're doing well. Beer and Lime Lady is with us. Nice way to close out the weekend, working my ass off. Oh, no, you're saying the nice way to close out your weekend is by watching the Mystery Ship. Well, welcome, sister. Pleasure to have you aboard. Dark Brain is with us. Good to see you, my man. Hope everything is groovy in your world. New Mexico, right? I think so. Matt Pogue checking in, just saying hello to his friends over there. Well, we've got a nice little crowd hanging out over at the Tube. Shall we go to the home of free speech in America? The complete antithesis of YouTube? Let's do it. Let's go over to Pilled Foxhole, where, man, you can let it all hang out. And the folks I have people letting it all hang out there right now. They are. In fact, 2 of them are running around naked. Prayer Warrior Girl, get your clothes back on, please. It's a family show. You know I'm getting, bro. Joelaine, how are you doing, kiddo? Great to see you. Trick Pony in the house. Good to have you aboard. Girl Patriot is with us, dressed in her Santa suit. Well, very nice. Andy Social checking in over there. Probably because I forgot to fire up at Rumble. Patriot Fluffy, how are you doing? Good to have you aboard. Crazy Chuck with a K, checking in from Ohio. Good to have you with us. Yes. Jesse, 81138, thank you for joining us tonight. Pleasure to have you aboard the Mystery Ship. Always a pleasure. Reverend O'Doichi. O.D. Deutsche. Reverend Revenge. My goodness. That's what happens when you only have in one contact lens. Revenge, O.D. Deutsche. Let me get that right. Howdy. Good to have you aboard. There's nothing worse than mispronouncing someone's name. I'll never get that one over there at D-Live, though. I'll never get that one right. Amethyst Cat is in the house. Good to see you, little lady. Good to have you aboard. I'm not working so hard. I'm working too much, Joelaine, but thank you for your concern. St. Nicholas, also in the house. Very good. Very good to see you. Wonderful. Sigurd, my goodness. Good to see you, brother. Hope everything is groovy with you. Val Hall is with us. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. We've got some wonderful people hanging out with us tonight. Resonate 432, coming in from a reality far, far away. You're resonating with us tonight, my friend. Nice to see you with us. Really is. Good to have you aboard. Prayer Warrior Girl says, how did you know? My camera works both ways, sister. It is wonderful to see all the... Pian! I know your French cousin, Pierre. He's a little dehydrated, Pierre. Good to see you. And yes. Well, David Sloan in the house. Good to have you all with us over there. Thanks for joining us on the Mystery Ship over at Pilled Foxhole. We have got a wonderful crowd tonight over at D Live. Holy smokes, bad zoot. Speaking of only wearing a fur coat, that's all she's got on. Old Kate. If you saw Play Misty for me, you know what I'm talking about. Val Kimber in the house. Amethyst Cat spreading the love. Willie Fix-It is in there sharing some love. Donated 1 bell. Thank you, Willie. Thank you. I'll give you 2 bells. I'll give you 2 bells. Spudley in the house with us. Jayla17. Good to see you, kiddo. My goodness, we've got a bunch of the regulars. A bunch. Pete Dan is with us. Peggy Dancer. Hey, that is awesome. Awesome. Awesome sauce. We got some great people. Great people hanging out with us tonight. I want to see if I can pull up this little... my fingers are crossed here. I have no idea. I have no idea if it's going to work or not, but let's try. Let's just try and see if we can. I'm wondering if this piece of videotape will come up. Will it? Come on now. It's pedaling as fast as it can. I'm going to have myself a little sip of grog while I'm waiting. It's a 50s vintage swing coat of beaver. Well, why isn't this firing up? I don't understand. I really don't understand. Come on. I'm just trying to find one of my uploaded videos. I'm not asking them to reinvent the wheel over here. Okay, there it is. Finally. I got it to work. Very good. Man, I didn't think all I'm asking to do is play a lousy video. It's that simple. Okay. Let's stop that. We're going to crank the volume. And I'm going to put it over here so you can see. So last night, folks...
Could. I should.
Last night was Saturday night. Those of you who have been hanging out with me this weekend know that I work for a living. And I had to actually cancel my show Friday night. I normally do a Friday night mystery ship. Unfortunately, we were pouring concrete. And it's very cold here in Oregon. We got the concrete down by, my God, 10:30 in the morning. By 10:30, the trucks are gone, the mud is down, everything's rotted off. All we have to do is set about finishing the concrete. The sun came out, warmed all the way up to about 50, I think, 49, 50. Beautiful day. And the boys are massaging it, they're edging the corners, they're brooming, they're bull floating, they're doing all the things that you do to finish concrete. Had a huge crew, 11 guys. Everything going wonderfully. And then low about 3:50 in the afternoon. 3:50 in the afternoon, the sun goes, we're very, very close to the base of some mountains. Our sun disappears from sight about 3:50 in the afternoon. Now, if you're on the other end of the valley, of course, you know, the sun stays out a lot longer. But because this little berg is nestled in the foothills, the sun goes down. And let me tell you, the minute the sun goes down, it drops 10 degrees. Seriously, you can watch the needle move on a thermometer. We ended up working and massaging because we had to, once it was flat, once it was hardened, once it was power troweled, everything was perfect. Then before we can go home, we have to cover the entire thing with insulation blankets. That's what you do with fresh concrete. You try not to let it crack. Keep it warm, baby. Keep it warm. We left there at 11:45 at night, Friday night, I started at 5:30 in the morning. So very long day for your brother Zoe. And then the following morning, just before my radio show, my Saturday morning rock show, I had to get my butt back in the truck about 6 a.m. and head over cross town to our office, pick up a trailer with all the saw cutting materials in it, drag it back to the job site, meet the guys. We had to lay out all of the saw cuts on the slab. That's what you do with a concrete slab. Concrete cracks, stucco, concrete, I mean, you name it. If something's made of concrete, by God, it's going to crack. So what we do is we put saw cut lines in it. We cut grooves in it about 2 inches deep. We try to tell it where to crack in an organized, beautiful fashion. So we put saw cut lines all through the building. Another long Saturday, I snuck out of there just in time to get home and do my Saturday show, which actually wasn't just in time. I was about a half hour late starting my show. That night, I was supposed to be on air with my dear lady. She's on right now. What is her name? She's on right now. Coffee Talk with Sandra. No, she's not on right now. But she had invited me to be on the program. She reached out to me and said, hey, I saw that you're working insane hours. You want to reschedule? You want to reschedule for like after the holidays? And I wrote her and I said, God bless you. I just think I'd be worthless. I wouldn't be able to think when you're that tired. I mean, I'm not kidding you. When I got home Saturday night, I fell asleep in the car. Well, let me tell you about Saturday night. So the people I'm working for, I am building a new building for a wonderful group of people known as Talent Maker City. Maker City. What it is it is a state-of-the-art do-it-yourself center. If you are someone inclined to work with your hands, if you like doing woodwork, if you like doing ceramics or pottery, if you like learning new things like wood engraving, they've got 3D everything. They do 3D printing. It's actually quite an astounding place. If you like building things, they will not only allow you to use their equipment and machinery, they'll help you. They'll put you with the right person to get it done. It's an amazing thing. They're really, really wonderful people. I'm getting to know them well. Last night, in the little teeny tiny town of Talent, where I'm working, which is about 4 miles from my house, wonderful motorcycle ride, they held an event. It was called Lights in Bikes. Lights in Bikes. They hold this event every year. And what you do, you're encouraged to take your bicycle. You take your bicycle and you decorate it with lights. And then they have like a 1.5 mile long ride all the way through the teeny tiny little town. So, I had to kind of twist Mrs. Zoa's arm because it was really kind of cold. And I took old Peggy here. I should turn on some lights so you can see what I look like, what she looks like. Let me do that. Let me just do that. Why not? Yep. Yep, I put the red, white, and blues. I have lights around my fairing. I had lights inside the center of the front wheel and lights on the rear all the way in the back where the sissy bar is. I lit it up. I lit it up like a Christmas tree. It was wonderful. We had a great time. I was the only motorcycle in what was otherwise a bicycle ride, but people liked it. They had a good time. They watched us having fun, and I actually have a little bit of video to share from last night. So let's see what we can do here. Let me see what I can do to. Can I blow this up at all? Nope. Nope. Anyway, let me share what I can. Let me share what I can.
Could. I should.
Turn here. Okay.
Good to see you. I wish this would never end. This is fun.
Just a brief idea. I could have shown you, 20 minutes of it. We rode all through the town. It was great. It was a fun little outing. Mrs. Zoe had a blast. We both were rather surprised at how much fun it was. Literally, the whole town came out. There were 4 and 5-year-old kids. There were 75-year-old ladies riding their bicycles. There were mothers with two children on the back. Everything was lit up. Every bicycle was lit up, and it went forever. I mean, there was this one stretch where it turned around, and you could just see lighted bikes as far as it was very, very reminiscent of the toy ride I just went on. Even though it was a brisk December evening, everybody had a great time. A lot of fun. Very cool. Very, very cool. If you're ever in if you're ever in the City of Talent in December, the second weekend in December, I invite you to come down and check out Lights in Bikes. It was a great time. Maybe I will dig up some more footage and try to air it later, but just wanted to get that out there. Are you in the Christmas spirit? I am. I'm having a great time. I'm actually looking forward to Christmas. I still have, oh my goodness, I haven't done there's a significant amount of shopping that still needs to get done, and I'm going to have to mail some items. So this next week, your brother Zoe is going to not only pay the piper, I'm going to have to pay some exorbitant postal fees to get things where they should be by the correct time. But when you're working, so I had a 17-hour day Friday, 17 hours. Can't remember what I worked Saturday, 4 or 5. And then I worked all day today. The Harley Davidson dealership that I built 2 years ago, they had a problem with their sign. It wasn't lighting up properly. And I went over and I opened the thing up, and it was a dinosaur, old 8-foot fluorescent bulbs. And I said, girls, you want to go modern. We want to go LED. You'll never change a bulb again. And I did. I finished it today. I worked last weekend. I worked this weekend. And by Jove, where's my camera? Where's my pictures? There it is. There is the DNS Harley Davidson sign, all lit up. You can see you can see in the picture, it's all lit up. They're happy. I'm happy because we bartered. I said, look, you got a bid from the sign company for $3,500 to redo that sign. You buy the materials. I'll put it in. I'll make you a sweetheart deal, and we'll just trade. When I need a new tire on my bike, if I need a brake job, oil change, and I'll fix your sign for you. And they said, let's do it. So they're excited. I hope they drive by it tonight, because I drove by late tonight in the dark, and it was very cool. Very cool. All right. We will be back immediately following this message. Tonight, we are going to be looking at a little piece of history. The Pullman Porters. I don't know what you know about the Pullman Porters, but a very interesting tale indeed. I like revisiting history. Those who don't study their history are doomed to repeat it. Quite a story to tell coming up. The Pullman Porters. I hope you don't go anywhere, but I'm going to give you 3 minutes to either run to the bathroom, take the dog outside, refill your drink, do that voodoo that you do, but you've got 2.5 minutes. 2.5 minutes to come back and catch tonight's program. I so welcome you here aboard the Mystery Ship. Why do we sail upon the Mystery Ship? 'Cause we never know where we'll go next. Well, this is the time where I take a moment and thank the wonderful people who support this program. You guys are amazing. Your lemon love, your gold pills, they are so much appreciated. I get surprises every now and then in Cash App and PayPal, and in the mail. I get wonderful things in the mail, like the General Lee. The General Lee came in the mail the other day. I couldn't believe it. I just couldn't freaking believe it. Incredible. I love you people. Thank you for supporting me. One of the best ways that you can support this program doesn't cost you a nickel. It's by just sharing it Put it on Facebook. Put it on whatever that voodoo that you do. Gab, Getter, Twitch, or Twitter, whatever it's called now. X. Screw them. I can't keep up with the names. All I know is I'm so thankful for what you guys do for me. It means the world to me and Mrs. Zoe. Thanks so much for your unbelievable support. I love you guys. I freaking love you guys. So tonight, people, we are looking at an amazing story. There are so many American stories that need to be retold so that they don't get forgotten, shared, time and time again. There's hundreds of them, thousands of them. Tonight, we're just looking at one of them. We're looking at one little story. It's the Pullman Porters. I don't know if that rings a bell off the top of your head, but we're going to have a look at them. These are the Pullman Porters. These right here are the Pullman Porters. Yes, proud men, hard-working men. An amazing tale. And these guys, they went through hell. They really did. Talk about having balls. They had balls like I've never seen. Now, you guys know that at my very core, I am indeed what you would have to call an anarcho-capitalist, okay? I really believe in a limited government, staying out of my business. You just let me be. And I believe that capitalism is a good thing. If you want to come here, if you want to work hard, if you want to kick ass and take names, you have the ability to do it. In the mid 1800s, everyone worldwide aspired to come to America. It was indeed the land of opportunity. I'd like to believe it's still the land of opportunity today, although sometimes it seems almost hard to believe, but I think that it is. I do think that it still is. What's going on here? Let me fix that. There we go. Hey, look, Mud Rabbit is here. Wabbit, how you doing? Good to see you. American man, hanging out here. Well, good to see you, my friend. You probably popped in here because I forgot to push the rumble button tonight. It happens. Dusty Blue, what are you doing? Good to see you. Let me turn you blue. Good to have you aboard, my friend. Well, welcome all my friends over at YouTube, the current reigning champions. The reigning champions. For those of you who don't know, once a month, and it's coming up quick, people. It's coming up quick, like in a week and a half, maybe. Your brother Zoe holds a multi-platformed contest. It is a trivia contest. It is a difficult trivia contest. Things that you can't Google. And by God, the YouTubers came up on top. Actually, I think every platform has had a win. Every platform has had a win. You know what I forgot to do tonight? By goodness, I feel terrible. I haven't even gone over to Twitch. I wonder if there's people at Twitch. I hope. Boy, that's embarrassing. That's embarrassing to not check your own channel at Twitch. There could be wonderful people hanging out over there, and I don't even know it. I'm having a look. I'm having a look right now. Well, this stream is loading. All right, I'm just going to say hello, just in case. Hello. Hello, Twitchers. Just in case Twitchers show up over there. Wow. Okay. All right, so back to our story. There are so many American stories that need to be told. And as I said, I am an anarcho-capitalist. I believe that this is I want to believe this is still the land of opportunity. But in the mid 1800s, people poured into this country. Poured into this country. Back then, our colleges were first rate. Our colleges were not filled with Marxist teachers. No, far from it. Our colleges were the best in the world back then. It's disgusting to think of what has happened to learning in the United States. It's just, I mean, it just drives me nuts. Drives me nuts. Now, there were a handful of very, very prosperous men at the turn of going from 1800s to the 1900s. Of course, the dreaded Rockefellers, Vanderbilts, Carnegie, the steel guy, built the railroads. But at times you could find each and every one of them despicable. There's something about filthy, filthy rich men. Now, I believe, to the core of my being, I believe that you have the right to do whatever you want with the spoils of war. By God, if you find a way to make yourself wealthy, well, you should enjoy it. But I also think that when you're getting wealthy off of other men's backs, you got to take care of the people that take care of you. That was not the story with this gentleman right here. Folks, I want to introduce you to a fellow named George Pullman. George Pullman, yes, there he is. Now, he was an engineer. He learned from his father. He learned from his father a very interesting technique. His father created what is basically the house jack, okay? If you've ever seen houses being moved, being relocated, they do that, house movers. In fact, in my career as a builder, I have actually had to enlist a house moving company. Now, I didn't move a house, but I certainly picked a house up and then made a new foundation on a hillside and set the house back down again into perfectly level status, much to the amazement of the owner. Seriously, the house was 4.5 inches out of whack when he used to drop a tennis ball at the front door of his Hollywood Hills mansion, and it would roll to the far corner of the house. That's how far out of whack his house was. And the reason I remember that is because the day after doing all the work, we jacked the house up, we built this new incredible foundation and set it back down. I met him at the front door when he got home from work that day, and I handed him the tennis ball with a smile on my face. He took the tennis ball, he dropped it, and it just stayed right there. He looked at me and smiled. We have been friends for, oh my goodness, forever. But George Pullman, he was savvy. Let's get another look at this guy. Kind of an interesting little growth on his chin, right? Look at that. Look at that bearded guy. So, as I mentioned, his father created a way to pick up homes, to raise them up. And George followed in his father's footsteps. He went out and got some huge contracts on his own, became well known as an engineer. He not only picked the houses up, but then he had to devise a way for them to stay there. And he did very well for himself. Now, at some point, he was summoned by the city of Chicago. This is like right, literally, as Lincoln was president. He was brought there. The roads in Chicago were awash with mud. The main city streets, because of the horse and carts and all the buggies and all that, when it rained and the snow and all of that, it was 2 feet of mud. It was 2 feet of mud to walk across the street. So he was hired to go and raise several buildings. In fact, a couple of city streets. He became enamored with the fine hotels in the city of Chicago. He was amazed by the luxury when he was staying there, and he was thinking to himself, "My God, this is uptown." One of the things that he didn't forget was the train ride going from, I can't remember if he came out of Atlanta or he came out of New York. I know that he lived in New York with his father. That's where he learned the house jacking trade. But I believe he somewhere in the East Coast on the eastern seaboard was where he was working when he was summoned to Chicago to do those jobs. And he took a railroad ride all the way to Chicago. Now, back then, there weren't straight rail. He had to go all the way up to New York, then he had to go down around the Great Lakes, and then it took, One thing he noticed was that riding on the rails was a pain in the ass. It was uncomfortable, hard wooden seats, it was miserable, it was brutal to go across country on a train. And he thought, what if I created a hotel atmosphere in a railroad car? And that is precisely what he did. He stashed his money. He hired a handful of top-notch carpenters. And he started building these incredible rolling hotels. The Pullman... All right, where's my photo? Here we go. Have a look at this. Talk about plush. Talk about luxury. This was a Pullman sleeping car, okay? Look at the carpeting. Look at the lavishness of this thing. The lighting, the gas lights and all that. So these were upper berths, right? These pulled down. See that you put a key in there. Number 2, you put a key in there, and this dropped down and became a sleeping berth. Okay, all of these are sleeping berths. And who do you suppose took care of that? Well, it was, of course, the Pullman porters. They had the keys. Now, Pullman employed a couple hundred workers. Let's get a gander at the kind of work that those men did. So he had guys working their ass off, turning out Pullman sleeping cars. Well, and what he decided to do is, instead of sell them to the railroad companies, he rented them. He rented them to the railroads. You can only imagine how quickly this idea caught on. For going all the way across the country, back then it was like a 5-6 day trip. Do you want to ride in a hard wooden old-fashioned car, or would you want to ride in one of those fancy new sleeping cars. Well, these sleeping cars were the hot ticket. I mean, people flocked to them all of a sudden. The idea of luxurious travel and actually enjoying a rail car trip. He struck upon a gold mine, and his company expanded, and he had investors, and he promised his investors 6% return on their money. That's nothing to sneeze at. And he did very, very well. In no time, he had like 400 cars out there rented to all the different railroads. And they came replete with Pullman porters, the fine men I just showed you an image of a little while ago. But there were, as there always is, economic downturns, highs and lows, with America being what it is. You can't discount greed. Greed is one of those things. You have to think. This man was, I had the figures, damn it. Let me see if I can just recall. At the time, and we're talking like 1880, okay? This guy was worth $2 million, which in today's money is something like 65 million. I mean, he was doing well. All of a sudden, the name George Pullman is known across the country, and his Pullman sleeping cars that's the only way people want to travel. They found it to be luxurious. It was wonderful. It was like, his ideas would soon be copied in another 20, 40 years by ocean liners. They decided to take ocean liners like the Titanic and turn them into giant sailing hotels. Okay? So his ideas they stood the test of time. His operation expanded. It expanded so quickly that in order to keep his workers close to work, he built a town. He built the town of Pullman, Illinois. And in the town, I have a picture of the town somewhere. Yeah, so let's show this nice little picture of Pullman, Illinois. Beautiful little houses. Okay. Whoa. There they are. Beautiful houses that all of the workers could live in. This was big time for this day and age to have indoor plumbing. To have indoor plumbing was unheard of. These houses had it. The workers rented the homes from George Pullman. He had quite a little racket going, okay? I mean, he provided them with nice homes, but the monthly rent of these homes came directly out of their paycheck, so that by the time they got their paycheck, sometimes the checks were a little meager because he ensured that he got his money first for the rental of the homes. Now, they were nice homes, and it was a step up for many of the people. Many of the people working for Pullman at the beginning were happy, were satisfied. They were living in nice homes. It was a good way of life. Their children could go to good schools, clean. I mean, they washed the macadam of the streets. This was living. Now, oddly enough, they didn't let the Pullman porters live in this town. They had to live on the outskirts of the town. They couldn't live in what was becoming a thriving metropolis. And surprisingly, well, maybe not surprisingly, everything to do with that town, from the grocery stores to the everything that you needed to buy was conveniently located in the town. It was like one of the first places where you had meat markets, you had, access to fresh fruits and vegetables, all that. And George was providing all of the food. He was making money buying from the farmers and bringing the food to town and then selling it to the workers. I mean, this was a no-lose venture for George. He was doing very, very well. Then came along an economic downturn, okay? Just before the turn of the century. Things went to shit, to be honest with you. To be straight up, things went to hell. George went and slashed workers' wages. He cut their wages by 25%, but he didn't lessen the rent. And what was happening to people is they would get their paycheck, and after the rent was deducted, they would have 12 cents. Even though 12 cents was probably like $20 today, it was still nothing you could live on. And the workers decided to organize. They looked around at some of the unions around the country and decided, man, we need help. We need help against this guy. He's gotta give us a fair wage. You can't cut our wages just because your profits are suffering. So they decided to get together with one of the most powerful unions in the country, the American Railroad Union. Okay? Now, this was a very, very powerful union. And when the union head came to Chicago and learned about what was going on, they very quickly organized, and they went to Pullman. And they said, look, these are the lists of demands for your workers, okay? They don't want to work 20 hours a day. You know, they're overworked. You've got to raise their pay back to what it was. They're not making a living. They're subsisting with your system. Pullman turned a blind eye to them. He didn't want to listen. He stood firm. He was a bastard, if you ask me. Okay? He was just like the Rockefellers. He was rubbing elbows with jackasses like the Rockefellers, and man, it showed. Well, the American Railroad Union decided that they would take up the plight of these Pullman workers, and 4,000 workers walked off the job one day. Walked off the job. The building of Pullman sleeping cars came to a screeching halt. Nothing was leaving. Pullman tried to act like everything was still, to his stockholders and stuff. He tried to act like everything was cool, but after 2 months, they were feeling the strain. And that's when the railroad union stepped in and said, we're going to help you. And the union said, we are not going to move a single train that has a Pullman car attached to it. Now this brought national attention to the plight of the Pullman workers. You can imagine, the American Railroad Union had 250,000 people hooked up to it, okay? A quarter of them, it was the most powerful union at its time. And when they shut down, they closed America because there was a Pullman car or dozens of Pullman cars on just about every freaking train crossing the country. And they said, we're not touching a train. We're not going to move a train. Engineers, everybody said, we're standing with the Pullman guys. We are not going to move a single train that has a Pullman car attached to it. This was pretty powerful. This sent a real message. The whole country was talking about it. It was one of the most powerful shutdowns that you'll ever see. Fruit and vegetables that normally got transported by rail car was rotting in the rail cars. And the workers were getting pissed because he wasn't budging. He wasn't even willing to talk to them. They started in the South Chicago rail yards, and they flipped cars over. They lit them on fire. They really fought back. They fought back valiantly. Unfortunately, old Georgie Porgy was in bed with the rich boys now, okay? When you've got friends like Vanderbilt and Carnegie and Rockefeller, they introduce you to people like Grover Cleveland, the President of the United States. And they found a way to solve the railroad problem. The big boys gathered around and they all said to the president, this can't go on any longer. We're all losing our asses. You need to get the railroads back up and running. So what they decided to do is put a United States mail car, a railroad mail car carrying U.S. mail attached to every Pullman sleeping car. Now, you might be able to let a Pullman sleeping car sit idle, but if you are impeding the U.S. mail, folks, you got a problem. And that's exactly what solved the problem. The Attorney General under Grover Cleveland said it is illegal and it's against the law to not move the U.S. mail. This strike is illegal. Get back to work. And they did. So the men of Chicago, not getting their way, rebelled again and had more railroad car burnings and more fires. And for the first time, the U.S. military was sent into Chicago. And they opened fire. They opened fire on U.S. citizens, killing dozens. People ran for their lives. It put out the fire, put out the strike, and they lost. They lost big time. A lot of people got fired. A lot of people got laid off. The people who did get rehired by Pullman had to sign paperwork saying, I will never join a union again. I'm non-union. It was disgusting. It was absolutely disgusting. But you know, God has a funny way of working things out. He really does. Living in his lavish home, a beautiful home, Pullman died of a heart attack, dropped dead. Now the company was taken over, and it had a new leader. And strangely enough, the leader was Abraham Lincoln's son. So people thought there might be some justice. There might be some justice done to the workers. After all, Lincoln freed the slaves. It didn't happen. It didn't happen, people. And the guy's getting one of the worst deals. Pardon me for a second while I find the photo again that I want to show you. Come on. Curses my cursor. There we go. Yes. The guys getting the worst deal were these gentlemen right here. These gentlemen right here. They were working their asses off. They have been getting screwed from day one. Why? Why, you ask? Because, first of all, the American Railroad Union was segregated. When they were standing up to fight against Pullman, unfortunately, the Pullman porters weren't recognized. They weren't allowed to be part of the struggle. They had to just continue working, period. So they suffered for the 2 months that the railroad was down. And finally, when they went back to work, they went back to the same conditions that they had before. No one was standing up and fighting for them. These guys waited on you hand and foot. Your wish was their command. They were always impeccably dressed. It was a very, very good living. Many of these men were the sons of sharecroppers who, when Lincoln freed the slaves, they all said, "Man, we're out of here. We're leaving. We're leaving the South. We're going up north to find opportunity." And this was a good opportunity for them, but their wages were poor. The only thing that they really lived on was their tips, which is why they did such an excellent job. They always greeted you with a smile. Their shoes were always shiny, polished, as were the bills of their caps. These were classy, hard-working, bust-your-ass kind of guys. They packed your luggage. They saw to your every need. And surprisingly, you don't hear a lot about it, but there were Pullman maids. Yes. Now, it was only on the express rides between the bigger cities, and there was only one. There was only one maid per car, per train, but you could get your hair done. You could have your nails done. All kinds of wonderful services were provided by the Pullman maids. Very, very few of them, but they did exist. These gentlemen lived on their tips. That's pretty much what made the difference. And they found sneaky little ways to increase their tips. They learned very quickly that if you take care of the children go back to their mom and dad and say, "Oh, that porter's really a nice guy. He gave me a lollipop." And the tips would increase. And the stories told by the sons of these guys were are amazing. You can find them out there. There are stories about the Pullman porters, but they too were getting a raw deal, a very raw deal. They were pretty much starving to death, and like the shoe shine kits and all that, they had to buy all their own materials. The shoe shine that they charged for on the train, they didn't get the money from that. They got the tip money, but the Pullman company got the money for the shoe shine. These guys were getting screwed. Now, there was an underground newspaper at the time. It was called The Messenger, and it was being shared. It was being printed in Chicago. A very savvy guy, A. Philip Randolph, was the editor. He was the editor of The Messenger, and it told the plight of the American Negro like no other. It was extremely popular. This little pamphlet was being passed around everywhere, and everywhere the trains went, the Pullman porters took the Messenger with them and gave it out, dropped off copies all over the country, alerting people to the plight of the Pullman porter. They decided to organize, and they created a brotherhood. I think it was called the Brotherhood of Sleeping Cars, something like that. I should look it up. I really should look it up. But they organized, and they wanted to barter with the company, because now Pullman was no longer around. Okay, now you're bartering with a company, and they saw that in the state of Illinois, the town of Pullman got taken away from Pullman Company. They argued it in court, and it was decided that a company can't own a city. A city has to be just a city. So they broke the city down and offered the rail car workers the first opportunity to buy. But that city stands to this day. The town of Pullman, Illinois, is still there. There are a great many landmarks still there. I want to go there. I want to go and check it out. So the editor of this magazine, A. Philip Randolph, the editor of The Messenger, was a very well-educated, very, very good speaker, very intelligent man. They asked him to represent them, and he jumped at the chance. He jumped at the chance, and he fought for them, and he fought long and hard for the Pullman porters. It took 3 decades and 4 organized strikes. I don't want to quite call them strikes, but 4 times they went back to them and upped their ante, and eventually they gave in, and these men finally received, number 1, a working wage, number 2, living conditions. These guys worked 20 hours. I want to show you these men again. I just, nothing impresses me more than their story. Men like these right here, they worked their freaking asses off. A lot of times they had to sleep in like the sleeping car, and excuse me, They had to sleep in the smoking car, all right? And there was always traffic in and out, in and out, in and out, and there was always doors slamming. And when you're only getting 3 or 4 hours of sleep a night, and all night long you hear somebody slamming the door, slamming the door, slamming the door, it was probably a miserable existence. The only thing that they had to show for it was they carried like a leather doctor bag with them wherever they went. That's what they kept their tips in. And when they would go home after, 10, 12, 14 days on the road, not seeing their family, they would come home with a sack of money, and that's what they lived on because their wage was so pitiful. Well, after Randolph fought for them, things changed. Things changed. And Randolph went on to, what a brilliant man. A. Philip Randolph, look him up. A brilliant, brilliant orator, a champion of the people. I can't say I'm 100% in the bag for him because he was at his heart a socialist, and I'm not a socialist in any way, shape, or form. But he fought for people's rights, and I've always fought for people's rights. There's a story my mom used to love to tell. Nah, I'm not going to bore you with it. Holy Hannah, this ship has sailed. Anyway, in the future, if you get a chance, if you want to have a fascinating read, look around, look into these men, the Pullman porters. To me, they were rock stars. They were freaking rock stars of their day. We need more men like that. Men who have the gall to stand up for themselves. They were freaking men. There's a... let me see if I can find this. I hope I can. Yes, there was a poem. There was a poem that was going around at the time that these men organized. And, come on, go back. There it is. And the poem was called, God darn it, what is going on here with my phone? Why can't I just look at a lousy photograph? Okay. Well, look, we have a call. We have a call from Prayer Warrior Girl. How are you doing, little lady?
I am doing good. I just had to call and tell you about this. I'm excited about this. Look up PullmanPlaceRestaurant.com.
Pullman Place Restaurant?
.com.
Okay, give me half a second here.
I used to live in Leavenworth, Kansas, and we have a restaurant there, and it's Pullman Place, and it's themed with a railroad theme.
Aha. Okay.
I thought you'd be interested in it.
I am. Most certainly am. It goes right hand in hand with this with the story. Oh, come on. It's saying, oh, come on. Widget didn't load. Come on. Okay, so I have it. Let's see. Menu, about us, directions, more, gallery. Let's go to the gallery.
Oh, the food. It's just food.
Is the food? No. It's got photographs of the place. Oh, of course. There's pictures of the food. Pictures of the food, of course.
Go to about us. I think it'll probably show.
About us. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Let me share this with the folks.
But I used to eat there all the time.
Okay. All right. Let me put this on the screen. All right. Well, Pullman Place. What town is this in?
Leavenworth, Kansas.
Really?
And I didn't do time there. I just lived there.
Very cool. Very cool. It is a wow, wow. So it hasn't been there for like forever and ever.
Well, it says, well, if you read about it, what it says about us, it talks about how it's historic. So it doesn't say, when it was established, but it says that it's historic. So I think it's probably been there a long time, because as long as I was there, and I was there for, maybe 40 years.
Okay.
And then I moved away.
Uh-huh.
So I think it was there the whole time I was there, because my family would go there all the time.
Very, very cool. I appreciate you sharing that. Leavenworth, Kansas.
Yep.
Nothing
I know
to
you
do
want
with.
to go. I know you want to go, but I just had to call in.
No, it's good. I'm glad that you called in with that. That's great. Thanks, darling.
Oh, you're welcome. God bless you. Love you.
Love you too, darn.
I love you guys in the chat. Bye-bye.
Okay. Our friend, Prayer Warrior Girl. So at the time that those men organized, there was a popular poem written by a gentleman named W.R. Shields, and it went like this. I ask not, my friend, if you were born a Gentile or a Jew, a Buddhist or Mohammedan. I only ask, are you a man? It matters not, my friend, to me, if you are black as black can be, or colored red or brown or tan. I ask but this, are you a man? I care not, brother, whence you came, nor do I seek to know your name, your race, religion, creed, or clan. I want to know if you're a man. I care not if you're homely quite, or handsome as an angle bright. If you, throughout your little span, have only shown yourself a man. I think that most men think like that. They hate a weakling, loathe a rat. They've always liked, since time began, one who is first and last, a man. I found that rather poignant. Very cool. Very, very cool. In the end, folks, it's about dignity. It's about dignity. I'm no activist, okay? But I do recall that several times in my life, I had the balls to stand up for myself. And I remember I worked at this one company, and I went to the boss, and I said, I need to talk to you about a raise, man. I'm trying to raise a family, and I'm working my ass off. I work whenever you need me, I'm there. Weekends, out of town, you can count on me. I'm one of your main guys. I got to talk to you about more money. Okay. I'm headed for a meeting right now. We'll get back. So I let a week go by. I let 2 weeks go by. I hit him up again. I got to talk to you. And he had some other excuse for blowing me off. The following Monday, when I got to work, I already had in my hand the 2 company credit cards I had, the American Express, the gas card. I think there was three different cards I had. I was one of his main guys. I mean, this guy needed me. At least I like to think he needed me. And I walked in the door that Monday morning right in front of all the other guys, and I handed him my stuff, and I said, I'm out of here. He goes, what are you doing? I said, nothing. He goes, well, do you have a job? I said, no. All I do know is I'm not working here anymore. And he like panicked. I'll give you the money. I'll give you the money. I said, it's not about the money. Okay? It's about you blowing me off. That shows me how much I count. And I left. And the funny thing was, I got phone calls from the other 4 guys There were 4 other guys just like me, and every one of them told me they got a raise that day. Oddly enough, even though I didn't have a plan, I really didn't have a plan. I drove all the way home, and I got out of my truck and I stood. I was actually nicely dressed. I was not dressed in carpenter clothes. I just pulled up to a rather large job site going on, and I just stood there. I was looking at it, and a guy walked up to me and said, "Who are you?" I said, I'm a builder. I run crews for people." And he says, "Do you have a job right now?" And I said, "Well, actually, I just quit working." He says, "Give me your name, give me your number. Do me a favor. Don't go for any." He goes, "Where do you live?" And I told him where. And he said, "I have a job down there right now. I'd like for you to run it." And I ended up making, I think, another $5-7 an hour more than I was making for the other guy driving way the hell out of town every day. I know that God had a hand in that. I know that he did. I'll never forget it. And it's because I stood up for I had the balls to stand up for myself. I hope that all of us have the balls to stand up for ourselves when it matters. Those men, those Pullman porters, were some very, very respectable guys. In the end, it's about respect, people. It's about respect. It's really all it is. We all deserve respect. All right. We're getting towards the end of the show. There's a couple of things I need to share, a couple of things I have got to share. We've got people who are in need of prayer for one reason or another. I'd like to call out some names. I think you know who they are. They're sailors. They're fellow sailors or friends of sailors or relatives of sailors. They're all important. And I'd just like to remind us that every now and then, it never hurts. It never hurts to pray for them, to pray over them, to send them healing. Send them prayers of healing. We can heal one another. It's not some crazy, you have to be a faith healer kind of a deal. We are electric beings. We have power running through us. We're a human circuit board. We can send out the charge if you believe. That's the bottom line, is if you believe. I think Christ told Peter that, or his disciples, that if you wanted to, you could cast that mountain into the sea if you believed it. If you believed you could. Our dear sister Jayla 17, one of our D-Live followers, has a brother-in-law. He has been in ICU. She sent me an update. It was a little personal, but all we really need to know is that this gentleman needs our prayers. He is out of ICU, but he's still in the hospital, at least as of last writing. I'd like us to pray for our dear sister Jayla 17's brother, her brother-in-law. Let's just pray that he heals up, and that God's hands are hard at work, getting him back to where he needs to be. That's all you really need to know. Our friend CDP4JC, he is a foxholer, a good friend of this program. He needs prayers for his son. Now, I don't know the exact nature of what is going on with his son, but again, I don't need to know. I know his son needs prayer. His son needs healing. I'm going to ask that we pray for his son. CDP4JC, pray for that little boy, that he be healed. This is one I haven't brought up in a bit, and I feel lousy about it. Our dear sister, Captain Grams. I reached out to her here a little bit ago, and she wrote me back a couple of times. She's going through some transitions, folks. She's okay. She's okay. She's just not phenomenal. And this is the kind of person that you would like to see be phenomenal. She is a beautiful, beautiful sailor. I've never laid eyes on her, but I just know. I know she is an amazing woman. An amazing woman. Would you pray for her? Would you pray that her situation improves? That's what she needs. She's just going through a difficult time in her life, and her situation needs to change. I pray. I ask you to pray for this woman, Captain Grams, that her situation changes and that God has a hand in improving the quality of her life. That's what she needs right now. She needs to improve the quality of her life, and a beautiful lady she is. Please remember Captain Grams in your prayers if you would. A dear sister, a dear, dear friend. I would like to ask us to pray for my sister-in-law, my Paula's, that's Mrs. Zoe. Paula's second oldest sister had a gallbladder operation, and she's in the healing process. Please pray for her. Her name is Julie. Would you ask that Julie be healed and feel good as new? That would be my request. Darn it. Okay, there it is. There it is. We have a new sailor watching over on D Live. He goes by the name Vault Music. He's had some new opportunities and some different things happen to his life lately. He's taking some steps in a new direction, a new house, new employment. I would like to pray for his success and the success of those around him, that God would deal fairly with him and see him get what he deserves. Vault Music is the name he goes by. One of our newer sailors over there on D Live. Please keep him in your prayers. Leah Worth and Gary Flessner are two friends of mine who I will always cherish. My incredible thanks to a bunch of people stepped up to the plate and donated to Gary through this program. Found out that he was in need. His car was broken down. He needed some help, and some beautiful, beautiful people stepped up to the plate and got him taken care of. I pray that the Lord blesses you guys for being the rock stars that you are. And I know that you do it not expecting a thing in return. I'm going to pray that you get your just desserts, because I know who you are, and I know what kind of wonderful people you are. Gary and Leah, both of these wonderful sailor friends of mine, of ours, each of them have a unique challenge, medically, health-wise. They're up against it, folks, both of them. It's never a sunny, rosy day for either one of them. But I'm going to ask that we pray for them so that in some, I don't care if it's a minute way, in some way, their burden is lessened each and every day. Something takes the edge off of what they're trying to do, because they're both beautiful, beautiful people. Leah Worth, Gary Flessner, please keep them in your prayers. Our sister P. Dan, I saw her with us earlier tonight. I hope she's still out there. Beautiful gal. She's had a year's worth of difficulty, a year plus worth of difficulty. I pray that God wraps his loving arms around her and heals her so that that sister is made whole. I ask that you pray for Peggy Dancer that she might receive the healing she needs. Oh, I'd like to ask one more time our dear brother Salty. Salty is he's had some further troubles with his throat. Salty Nuts. This is a guy who beat cancer a year ago. He's continuing to have some kind of throat problems. The doctors are on it. They're giving him treatments. I just pray that he comes out healthy and good as new on the other side. Please keep my friend Salty Nuts in your prayers. It reminds me of our buddy Dave Mick, another great guy, a beautiful, wonderful, a sailor, a pilled foxhole sailor of ours. Dave is battling leukemia. He'll be battling leukemia for the rest of his life. He's on the upswing right now, which is fantastic, but there will always be future treatments. And it's bone marrow transplant is what they do. I ask that you keep Dave Mick in your prayers, please. A great dude. He's doing well. We want him to continue to do well. Big Willie and Doll Fan. These are two foxholers. Great dudes. Both of them dealing with different lung issues. I would ask that you keep the two of them in your prayers when talking to the man upstairs. Big Willie, Doll Fan 72. Two people I am proud to call my friend. Proud to call my friends. Let's see. One Blue Iris, our dear sister Robin Tepfer. She will probably never be off of this list. Robin lost her husband it's been 2 years since she lost her husband. He was her primary helper. She's been going through some rough times lately, battling different diseases, and I just want to ask that we pray her into a healthy 2024. That God wraps his loving arms around this woman and keeps her fit as a fiddle. Whether you know her as One Blue Iris or Robin Murphy or Robin Tepfer, it matters not. Just keep Robin in your prayers, would you? Please do. Please do. We're going to have to get out of here, folks. It's getting late, and I'm excited to tell you that just inside the house, about 40 steps away, is a big batch of chocolate chip cookies that Mrs. Zoe cooked for me. Okay? I've been kind of busting her chops a little bit about it. I think I told you I went out and I bought the Nestle's Toll House dough and made my own cheesy cookies. Man, they pale in comparison. Mrs. Zoe busted out the cookies today. She was baking all day today, and my God, those cookies, they're calling me. So is a big glass of milk. It's Sunday night, folks. That means over on D-Live, our friend Val Kimber, just like it sounds, VAL_KIMBER, is firing up KMBR radio. Go over to D-Live. Check him out. Tell him Zoe sent you. He plays like great 80s stuff. Just badass. It's a great show. He's one of their top broadcasters over there. He's smoking my ass. Just smoking. Left me in the dust. I'm happy to see him succeed. I'm tickled pink, in fact. Get on over and give him a shout out. Black Cat, good to see you. Hope you're doing well. Hater, great. Good to see you. Artist61, how you doing? Wonderful to see you. Wonderful to see you. All right, folks, I'm going to get out of here. Cool Freedom Patriot, nice to see you. Oh, almost forgot the scratching. Can't do that. I can't do that. All right. The scratching is hereby released. Start scratching that itch. I want to thank the beautiful people who donated tonight over at Pilled Foxhole. Let me shout out some Gold Pills names. Winston Dave, Due Diligence, Girl Patriot, Porpoiseful, Kaylee, Starface 15, Jesse, 881138, a couple of times brought me the can. Thank you so much. Thank you guys so much. I hope you are just the best. You are the best. And over here, look at this. Look at this Amethyst cat. She's wearing the crown, folks. Look at that cat with the purple mask up there with the gold crown. She is a rock star. Holy smokes. Kosh 56, P. Dan, all these wonderful people donating lemons over there. Bells even. They're donating bells. Well, let me get into this treasure chest. Let me get right on into this treasure chest. I got to drop some love over here. I've got to drop some love. Let me see what I can do. All right, I'm putting some lemons in that chest. The chest, and it will be released. It will be released. It's coming at you, people. It is coming at you thusly. In 3, 2, 1, here it comes. Let me see if I can get a gold pill myself even. Maybe I can get one. Nope, not tonight. Not looking good. No gold pills for Zoe. What's happening here? Yep, sometimes you just don't have it. And tonight, I don't have it. Well, look at this. JLo 17 on top. TL Spud. Bad Zoot. Amethyst Cat. P. Dan. Congratulations, you guys. Way to go. Way to go over there. Nicely done. I wish all of you a wonderful week ahead. It is the Christmas season, folks. A season for giving. I love you all. You're all very, very generous to this program. And I thank you from the bottom of my heart. I ask that you do something wonderful for somebody else out there, whether it's holding open a door for somebody or carrying a package for someone or just helping somebody out, some stranger with some strange random act of kindness. It spreads, people. It spreads like a disease. Be the change you want to see in the world is what I'm suggesting. That's what I'm suggesting. We're going to get on out of here. I love you all. Have a great rest, or a great week. What is it? 10 days? 9 days? 9 days to Christmas? 8 days? Holy smokes, I got to get my act together. We'll see you around the bend, everybody. Take care, my friends. Stay out of trouble. And, well, I've lost my cursor again. There it is. All I can tell you is watch out. What the heck is going on with this? Must wonder if it's the battery. I wonder if it's the battery. Watch out for any Winnebagos in the driveway. That's all I can tell you. Watch out for Winnebagos in your driveway. Get on over and see Val Kimber, would you? Check him out.